Hey y'all, so the consensus is that y'all like the unscripted off-the-cuff videos. I like them too. They are fun, they're easy to edit, easy to put up, and also I just have a lot of feelings. I have a lot of feelings and I don't always have an outlet to get them out there, so we're gonna do that more often. I'm going to be watching a video of Charlamagne trying to clear up some rape allegations that have resurfaced, you know, and by clear up I mean save his ass. So on a few occasions over the years, Charlamagne has described some sexual experiences with women that sounded questionable. Questionable is the appropriate euphemism if we're gonna use one. And he has now had to actually address some of that and you know, not be called a rapist, because you know, time's up. We getting the rapists out of here. So Charlamagne is trying to keep his job. He talked about it on the Breakfast Club. He even called up his wife. So I have not seen this clip. We're going to watch it together, and I'm gonna talk about it.
You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Now, if you just joined us, something popped up on the net yesterday about Charlamagne. Now, I believe the headline was Charlamagne raped his wife.
No, it says Charlamagne admits. Don't just make up a headline. It says
everybody else does.
Admits first sexual experience with his wife was rape.
Who posted that?
Madame Noir.
Okay. Well, that stemmed from a conversation I was having on my podcast about rape culture, and I remember it was a lot of op-eds and think pieces last year, but I remember Teen Vogue in particular had a headline, you know, is drunk sex considered rape? So my wife and I were discussing it, you know, because the first time we had sex, we were, you know, super young and super drunk. So I asked her, did she consider that?
I feel like it should go without saying that if somebody is not able to consent, meaning if they're drunk or high or under the influence of drugs, then you should not have sex with them. And I recognize, because, you know, I used to be young. I was young. I recognize that sometimes it does get a little, when both parties are drinking, it gets a little, but it gets a little fuzzy, right? But like, let's just say that if I am not in a position to operate a vehicle, then I am not in a position to consent to sex. Like, that's an easy.
Consensual sex based off the conversation that was happening online. And, you know, the audio clip they got circulating online, of course, is edited and it stops at me just saying, yeah, but she told me, yeah, I can see how people say that, but that's not what happened with us. It's not like I said no.
Well, let me call her.
Stop acting like you have her phone number. I gave you her number, okay?
Let me call her.
That's so crazy.
And Charlamagne would definitely call your wife if need be.
That is not true.
Yes,
I would
you
never,
would. You had
never.
Definitely had Envy call his wife when he was in the middle of some trauma.
Let me call her. Hold on.
Mook.
Yeah.
Do you feel like discussing this headline? You know I've never called you to have you on the radio. The last time you've been on the radio.
Listen, you know shit is real when niggas is calling they wives. You know. Okay, let's go.
Was 1999 at Z93 Jams in Charleston, South Carolina, New Year's Eve. We kissed on the radio.
Wow.
You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so talk to the people, baby. Did I rape you the first time we had sex with each other?
Leonard, you need to learn.
Wait a minute. Do y'all see somebody in the studio braiding? Wait. We have to go back. Someone is braiding Angela. Y'all. Wow. Super black. I'm sorry. Back.
Did I rape you the first time we had sex with each other?
Leonard, you need to learn how to.
First of all, only Monique calls me Leonard. I'm just playing. Go ahead.
No, I call you Leonard. Forget that. You need to learn how to tell stories. You shouldn't have used the word rape, first of all, because the conversation that we were having is about rape culture.
Also, I was not expecting Charlamagne's wife to sound like this. I don't know what I was expecting. Okay, well, it wasn't. Okay, I'm disoriented right now.
So the conversation that we were having was that you felt like it was okay for you to have sex with me while I was intoxicated. That's a rape culture thing. That's not rape. So when you asked me that question, I was hesitant to answer you because you used the word rape. But, I mean, that's not what went down. Like, we both know what happened. And I was not passed out. I was very coherent. Like, enough for me to lift up my hips so you could take my panties off.
Knock it off. Whoa. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. Like, that's what happened. You know this what happened. And the next morning, we had sex. So,
we had sex the next morning?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Your memory is for you don't remember anything. And we first kissed that night, too.
That was our first kiss that night.
Wow, you guys dated for a year? That was your first kiss?
She made me wait for a year.
Yes.
You couldn't even she didn't like you really at first.
What are you talking about? We used to go on dates all the time.
And y'all never kissed for a year?
She's a good woman, okay? All right.
Angela, are you questioning me? Like, what's up?
No, I'm just saying a year. For a kiss?
Yes, for a kiss.
I know this might be inappropriate.
Okay, well, don't ask it then.
Was he good? Was he at least good?
Yeah, have a good morning, baby. I don't know why y'all be acting like my wife the one for smoke. She has no problem giving the smoke, okay?
I don't understand the point of that. What was that supposed to establish? It was supposed to, I guess, establish that his wife doesn't feel violated and therefore he's not a rapist? What? Ooh, we are grasping at straws right now. Leonard is grasping. Okay.
That is who runs the household, by the way. Now, can we ask the question?
What question?
This is a question that Teen Vogue posted last year.
And what's that?
Is drunk sex consensual?
We'll talk about it when we come back. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. We are The Breakfast Club. Now, if you just joined us, Charlamagne's wife just called us, and she was talking about the statement or the headlines that popped up yesterday. What were the headlines yesterday, Yee?
It says Charlamagne admits first sexual experience with his wife was rape.
I want to acknowledge that my tone was all wrong when I was having that conversation on the podcast. And I should have never used the term rape so loosely because it was irresponsible and not appropriate for what I was trying to describe. But what I was trying to describe was, this conversation centered around rape culture, and Teen Vogue had a headline last year, is drunk sex considered rape? So my wife and I were discussing it because the first time that we had sex, we were both super drunk. So, I asked her, did she consider that consensual sex based off the conversation?
Which brings the question, 800-585-1051, is drunk sex considered consensual? So let's start in the room. Let's start with Angela Yee.
What? Wait a second. This was the least productive shit I've ever seen. What were we supposed to have happen here? Maybe I should turn this off because I actually thought that Charlamagne was gonna do something. So the issue is actually not just with this fact that Charlamagne talks about rape and these kind of murky sexual experiences so flippantly. The issue is that Charlamagne has a pattern of trying to play this newly woke man or trying to be the race man, but has a piss poor lens when it comes to gender and sexual assault and sexual harassment. I'm old enough to remember Charlamagne talking about sniffing women's seats when they got up, when they did interviews on The Breakfast Club, and calling older celebrities, older meaning like over 35, vintage vagina and all of that, and he still sexually harasses women when they come on the show. So what are we doing here? What are y'all doing here? Like, don't waste my time. Don't pretend like we're done. Time's up. If we are not going to seriously reckon with the fact that perhaps we didn't know better, right? I've done lots of stuff in the past before I was, I don't consider myself to be woke, but I know a lot more now than I did 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago. And I realized that because I didn't know enough, that I potentially hurt people, that I violated people's boundaries, that I perpetuated homophobia, classism, transphobia, all of that sort of stuff. So when somebody says you did this and it was wrong, I have to be honest about it. I'm not gonna bring out my gay friend to say, remember when I called you the F word? That didn't hurt your feelings, did it? Like, what is going on? Also, I have a problem with the fact that Charlamagne is talking about this specific thing with his wife, which really wasn't even the real big deal. The real issues are with a woman saying in 2001, Charlamagne raped her. She's come forward and said she was 15 years old. She did not give consent. She's said that for now 17 years. That's an issue. Another issue is about a story that he told on Brilliant Idiots where he said he had sex with a woman while she was under the influence of Spanish fly. Now, I know Spanish fly is supposed to be a fun drug, it's supposed to be an aphrodisiac, but actually, let's just put in a clip here about the way it was described.
I remember a scenario in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I got this girl real drunk, and that sentence sounds a little fishy. I got her drunk. I didn't just get her drunk. I remember I went to the sex store and got Spanish fly. Oh, so you raped her? Shut up. Spanish fly. They sell it in the sex store. I'm telling the truth. They spell it in the Spanish store. I had to fucking. They sell knives in the sex store too. You could put that to a girl's throat and have sex with it. That doesn't mean it's legal. So I put the Spanish fly in the E&J. We drinking the E&J and shit. So in my mind, I don't know if this shit really worked, but I felt like I got horny as a motherfucker too. Right? So she was drunk as shit, and we had sex and shit, and like. A lot of my boys was trying to come in the room and fuck her. I'm like, nah, chill out. I can't. I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna let you run a train on it. That's rape. Okay. So, right. So it's just one-on-one. It ain't rape. Yeah. So the next trains are rape. So the next morning she wakes up. And we talk about it. And she's like, "What happened?" Oh shit. Like, we had sex. She said, "Okay, well, I'm glad it was you." Then a couple days later. She's like, yo, are you sure I only had sex with you? Because one of my stupid ass cousins was going around saying he fucked her, which he didn't. I know for a fact he didn't. I was there the whole time. He did not fuck her. He looked at her naked, but he didn't fuck her, right? So I'm telling her, no, me and you just had sex. Nobody else did nothing. So it just was weird that she was like, well, I'm just glad it was you. You know what I'm saying? Because in my mind, I'm like, yo, you could have been in a real bad situation if it was another motherfucker there. That's a huge compliment, man. A girl just said, yo, at least you raped me. I didn't rape her. I did not rape her. Hey, if it was any of your cousins or friends, it would have been rape. But I didn't rape her because me and her had every intention of having sex with each other. So then why would you put the Spanish fly? I'm still a freaky motherfucker, but listen, was she passed out while you fucked her? Nah, she wasn't like, she was like one of those drunks where she was one of those drunks where like she was one of those drunks but she was like she wasn't coherent but she was up. You know when your girls is like when you're blacked out like that, don't know what the fuck's going on type shit. Like she was awake and she was into it. She was wasted. Yeah, she was. Her eyes were not rolling in the back of her head. No. Okay. Was she snoring while you were? It was just weird. It was just weird because while we was having sex, she was. Because one of my homeboys used to fuck her on the regular.
So if you are not going to deal with that, then what is we doing? What are you doing? I'ma see what is here.
I'll say this. If somebody is drunk and not coherent, if they're passed out, if they're not making decisions, if you feel like they wouldn't want to have, like you can't really tell, but I've had sex with people before when I've been tipsy, but it's always been people that I've had sex with already. We have a rapport, we're comfortable with each other, and that's how that happens. If you feel like in your head this person is drunk and they may wake up and say what happened or they may not want to, best to not do it. And if there's any question, if you feel like they're in any way not in their right mind, just walk away, just go to sleep, do whatever you have to do, but you shouldn't, if there's any question at all, don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's my advice to people, you know.
Okay, Angela, you being the voice of reason, you know, you never know what Angela's gonna do. No shade, but Angela becoming a disappointing sometimes. But that was a very reasonable comment there.
I'm saying I wouldn't recommend young men engage in drunk sex, high sex, Molly Percocet sex. I just think it's too much of a gray area. You know what I mean? Like I just think it's too much of a gray area. Just wait until both parties are sober. And I mean, that's a message that I think we need to give the high school kids, college kids. Shoot, even some grown men need that message. Like sometimes it's best just to just walk away, wait for another day.
Yeah,
you know?
and drunk sex is not consensual. It's, I mean, if you're drunk, that's not a defense mechanism or a defense thing that you can use. No, it absolutely positively is not. And I think the best advice, like you said, is if you're drunk or if she's drunk, don't have sex.
You remember we was in Jamaica? What year was it?
Oh yeah, so we were in Jamaica and there was a young lady.
Yep.
Who was at the pool with us. She was from Cleveland. She was very excited to be out there with us. And she was so drunk, one of Charlamagne's friends
was 6'4",
was going to walk her back to the room. And I said, I'm coming with you.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Mm-hmm.
I walked with him to walk her back to the room so there would never be a question.
And he told you turn the camera on.
I didn't turn the camera on.
Well, he told you.
I was with him, though, but I wasn't going to do that to her because she was drunk. Yep. But I did walk back to the room with them just to make sure that there was no questions. You know, I made sure she got into bed, and then we left. And we left together just because I want to make sure we're not in a situation ever where somebody is drunk and she was clearly inebriated, like pretty bad. And I just didn't want to have any issues, you know, after that.
And she was all over him too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She was all over him, but
because at the end of the day, you don't know what somebody does. Like, yeah, we might know him, that's your boy, but if she said something, I'm not in the room, so I can't. So that's why I was in the room, so I can say nothing happened.
Not only that, the person might not remember. If somebody feels like, you know, it was consensual, somebody might not remember. Like, I mean, I just remember one time I was so drunk, I can't tell you what happened that night. And thank God my wife, it was my baby shower and my wife brought me home. But
I saw you that night.
I remember I couldn't tell you what happened that night. And the cameraman's laughing because he was there. Like, I don't remember. They said I gave a speech.
Yeah, you did.
I was throwing.
You doing a lot of dancing to reggae.
I just don't remember.
You was twerking.
I was twerking?
Yeah.
And you didn't footage.
I do have video footage.
I figured
her drive was there.
But my whole point is just leave it alone. It's not that serious ever.
Salem.
Hey, you guys remember?
Oh, girl, the Breakfast Club is trash. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Like, okay, so I think that I watched the Breakfast Club when they had interviews with interesting guests, but they do not have the range to deal with any sort of serious issue. And even when they were trying to talk about the drunk sex stuff, yeah, actually, they were right. Like, they're right. If you're too drunk to walk home, then you're too drunk to have sex. Like, that's great. I mean, it devolved into an after-school special. It felt real scripted there, but that is an important message to get out. So I appreciate them doing that, but I am very frustrated by the surface level stuff. You know, I understand I'm not 101 with this, but I feel like these sorts of discussions in this political moment deserve really rigorous, thoughtful analysis. I am consistently disappointed in the level of dialogue that the Breakfast Club engages in around important social issues. I just think bring in an expert or leave it alone. That's how I feel about it. I thought that this segment was awful. It was so bad. It was clearly constructed to give Leonard an opportunity to clear his name. We didn't get to the nitty-gritty of the real stuff. And, you know, once again, we have the person with the most power getting the opportunity to control the narrative. That ain't cool. Like, that's not justice. That's not progressive. I really, I'm so mad that it's like you can't quit the Breakfast Club because they have so many good guests. And also, Leonard is a really good interviewer. This was so bad. Honestly. It was so bad. It was evasive. It kind of reminded me of that. It reminded me of I Admit, right? Admitting to like these little transgressions so that we don't have to talk about the bigger ones. Anyways, I'm not finishing this video, y'all. We're gonna wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching me, you know, consume stuff I know I shouldn't be watching. I love doing this with y'all. It gives me an opportunity to have a reason to watch The Breakfast Club and engage with it meaningfully. But yeah, if you are ever accused of rape, this is not what you should do. This is not what you should do. No. And also, let me just say this, because I always have to say this. I don't hate Charlamagne. I hate people who have the resources and the opportunity to know better and who don't. That's what I really dislike. I am deeply disdainful and resentful of folks who have huge platforms, who use those platforms to say really gross, dangerous things, you know? That's maybe one of the reasons why, instead of putting so much emphasis on keeping it real or whatever, like, we should put more emphasis on maybe taking some time to be thoughtful. Because that, I say as I do an unscripted video. But seriously, when we are talking about sensitive subjects, and when you are a person with power and privilege, you do have a responsibility to know and do better. I feel like the Breakfast Club has continually abdicated that responsibility, and that is annoying to me. That being said, I do think, as a feminist, a fundamental part of my politics is that everybody has an opportunity to know and do and be better. You know, I don't believe in throwing anybody away. I don't believe in discarding folks. Everybody can be recovered. I hope that these, you know, sort of steps that Charlamagne appears to be making or says he's making toward gender progressivism, I hope that he is really investing himself in knowledge, right? Because these little surface level 101 conversations is not how we get to a better world, you know? I think that's how we walk through the door. That's how we invite more folks in. But after a while, it ain't gonna cut it. I'm just not going to accept, oh, I'm trying, you know, and you're still making the same mistakes. I don't think that we have to do that. Particularly with people who occupy certain spaces in our culture. So, yeah. What a disappointment, y'all. Anyways, I'm deeply, deeply grateful for the folks who choose to invest themselves in knowing more and sharing that knowledge with us. It's a huge responsibility, but, you know, I don't take it for granted. So that's all I have to say on that. Thank you once again for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, sign up for our Patreon to help us continue making more videos like this and other, you know, more scripted, professional, thoughtful, organized videos. There's exclusive content on the Patreon page, as well as free tickets to events and merch and a syllabus that I curate every 2 weeks. So sign up there, or you can make a one-time donation. Links for all of that stuff is below. Come to Black Girls Gather, events for Black women across the country. If you want to keep up with our other events that we're going to be holding that are not just for Black women, I'm having readings this fall. I'm having, you know, fireside chats across the country this fall. Sign up for our email list. You can text this number, 345-345, with the words for Harriet to sign up for the email list, or I'll put a link where you can sign up for the email list below. Man, we gotta do better. Y'all gotta do better. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.